the deepest living bird. While most birds stay in the air or on the surface of the water, the emperor penguin is a master of the deep sea. These penguins can dive to depths of over 1,800 feet, which is deeper than many human submarines can go, to survive the crushing pressure and the freezing cold. They have solid bones rather than the hollow bones found in most birds. They can also slow their heart rate down to just 15 or 20 beats per minute to conserve oxygen, allowing them to stay underwater for up to 20 minutes at a time while they hunt for fish and squid. The secret life of mushrooms. What we call a mushroom is actually just the fruit of a much larger organism that lives underground. The main body of the fungus is a massive network of tiny, white threads called mycelium. This network acts like a biological internet, connecting different plants and trees. Mycelium can grow for miles in every direction, breaking down dead wood and leaves to create healthy soil. Some scientists believe that mycelium is sentient in its own way, as it can react to its environment, solve puzzles to find food, and share resources with trees that are in need of help. The world's largest flower. The Rafflesia arnoldii is a plant that produces the largest individual flower on Earth. These flowers can grow to be over 3 feet wide and weigh up to 15 pounds. However, you probably wouldn't want to put one in a vase in your house. It is known as the corpse flower because it smells like rotting meat. The plant has no leaves, stems, or roots. It is a parasite that lives inside a specific type of vine in the rainforests of Southeast Asia. It only becomes visible when it bursts through the vine to bloom for a few days, using its terrible smell to attract flies that help it pollinate. The way bats see with sound. Bats are not actually blind, but they have a much better way of seeing in the dark called echolocation. As they fly, they emit high-pitched screams that are too high for humans to hear. These sound waves hit objects in the environment, like a tiny mosquito or a tree branch, and bounce back to the bat's ears. By listening to the echoes, the bat's brain can create a detailed 3D map of its surroundings. They can tell exactly how big an object is, which direction it is moving, and even what its texture is like, all while flying at high speeds in total darkness. The strange fact about Venus and snow. On the planet Venus, it is so hot that the snow on the mountain peaks is made of metal. The surface temperature of Venus is about 900 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hot enough to melt lead. At these temperatures, certain minerals like galena and bismuthite evaporate into a gas. As this gas rises to the cooler, higher altitudes of the Venusian mountains, it condenses and falls back down as a shiny, metallic frost. This means the mountains of Venus are topped with a glittering layer of heavy metal snow rather than frozen water. The power of an elephant's trunk. An elephant's trunk is a marvel of biological engineering. It contains about 40,000 individual muscles, but not a single bone. For comparison, the entire human body only has about 650 muscles. This incredible complexity allows the trunk to be both extremely strong and very delicate. An elephant can use its trunk to lift a log weighing 700 pounds, but it can also use the 2 tiny fingers at the tip of the trunk to pick up a single blade of grass or even a tiny peanut without breaking the shell. The way trees help make rain. Forests do more than just soak up water. They actually help create the rain they need to survive. Through a process called transpiration, trees release water vapor from their leaves into the atmosphere. A single large oak tree can release 40,000 gallons of water into the air every year. This moisture rises and forms clouds. Furthermore, trees release tiny organic particles into the air that act as seeds for raindrops. These particles give the water vapor something to cling to, which helps clouds turn into rain, effectively allowing the forest to water itself. The way ants farm other insects. Some species of ants have actually figured out how to farm other insects just like humans farm cows. Ants will protect tiny insects called aphids from predators like ladybugs. In exchange, the aphids produce a sweet, sugary liquid called honeydew that the ants love to eat. The ants will even milk the aphids by stroking them with their antennae. Some ant colonies will even carry the aphids to new plants to make sure they have plenty of food, and they will take the aphid eggs into their own tunnels during the winter to keep them safe from the cold. The incredible speed of a peregrine falcon. The peregrine falcon is the fastest animal on the planet, reaching speeds of over 240 miles per hour. They achieve this speed during a specialized hunting move called a stoop. When a falcon spots a bird from high in the air, it tucks its wings tight against its body and falls in a controlled dive. To survive the incredible wind pressure at these speeds, the falcon has specialized baffles inside its nostrils that slow down the air so it can still breathe. When it hits its prey, it uses its clenched talons like a high-speed fist to knock the other bird out of the sky instantly. The complex eyes of a bee. Bees do not see the world the same way we do. They have compound eyes made up of thousands of tiny lenses. While we see the world in high detail, bees see a more pixelated version, but they are much better at detecting motion. They also see a different range of colors. Bees cannot see the color red, which looks like black to them, but they can see ultraviolet light. Many flowers have evolved hidden patterns that are only visible in ultraviolet light, acting like landing strips to guide the bees directly to the nectar in the center of the flower. The depth of the world's oceans. The ocean is much deeper than most people imagine. The average depth of the ocean is about 12,000 feet, but the deepest part, the Challenger Deep, is nearly 36,000 feet down. If you took Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on Earth, and dropped it into the deepest part of the ocean, the peak would still be more than a mile underwater. In this deep midnight zone, there is no sunlight at all, and the water is near freezing. The creatures that live there have evolved glowing bodies and giant teeth to survive in a world of total darkness and extreme pressure. The fact that sharks can sense electricity. Sharks have a sixth sense that allows them to detect the tiny electrical fields produced by the muscles and nerves of other living creatures. They have small, jelly-filled pores on their snouts called the ampullae of Lorenzini. This sense is so sensitive that a shark can detect the heartbeat of a fish buried deep under the sand. This allows them to hunt with perfect accuracy, even if they can't see or smell their prey. It also helps them navigate the ocean by sensing the Earth's magnetic field, acting like a built-in GPS. The memory of a migrating butterfly. The monarch butterfly performs a massive migration of up to 3,000 miles from Canada to Mexico every year. What makes this incredible is that no single butterfly ever makes the whole trip. It takes 4 or 5 generations of butterflies to complete the journey. Yet the butterflies that arrive in Mexico at the end of the year fly to the exact same trees that their great-great-grandparents stayed in the year before. Scientists are still trying to figure out how this ancestral memory is passed down through their DNA so that a butterfly that has never been to Mexico knows exactly where to go. The way your brain washes itself. While you are asleep, your brain actually performs a power wash to clean out toxic waste. This is done through a system called the glymphatic system. During the day, your brain cells are active and create waste products. When you go into a deep sleep, your brain cells actually shrink slightly, creating more space between them. A clear fluid called cerebrospinal fluid then rushes through these gaps, flushing away the trash that is built up during the day. This is why you feel foggy and can't think clearly when you don't get enough sleep. Your brain literally hasn't had the chance to clean itself. The way a starfish eats its dinner is both fascinating and a bit like a scene from a science fiction movie. Most starfish eat clams and mussels, but they do not have teeth to bite through the hard shells. Instead, the starfish uses its powerful tube feet to pull the shell open just a tiny bit. Then, the starfish pushes its own stomach out through its mouth and slides it inside the shell of the prey. The stomach releases digestive juices that turn the clam into a liquid soup right inside its own shell. Once the meal is finished, the starfish pulls its stomach back into its body and walks away. The incredible speed of the human nerve impulse. Your body is constantly sending electrical signals between your brain and your muscles, and these signals move at an incredible speed. A nerve impulse can travel through your body at about 250 miles per hour. This is why you can react so quickly if you touch something hot or see something falling toward you. The signal from your hand travels to your brain, is processed, and a command is sent back to your muscles in just a fraction of a second. This speed is possible because your nerve fibers are wrapped in a fatty layer called myelin, which acts like insulation on a wire and allows the electricity to hop quickly along the nerve. The way spiders fly without wings. Some spiders have a way to travel thousands of miles through the air without having wings. This behavior is called ballooning. The spider climbs to a high point, like a fence post or a tall blade of grass, and releases several long strands of silk into the air. These silk threads are so light that they are picked up by the wind, but they are also affected by the Earth's natural electrical field. The static electricity in the air pushes against the silk, lifting the spider up and carrying it high into the atmosphere. Spiders have been found landing on ships in the middle of the ocean and even floating miles above the earth. The way your bones change. You might think of your bones as hard, permanent structures, but they're actually living tissue that is constantly being broken down and rebuilt. Every year, about 10% of your skeleton is completely replaced with brand new bone cells. This process allows your bones to heal from tiny cracks and to adapt to the weight and stress you put on them. If you exercise a lot, your body will build denser, stronger bones in the areas that need it most. Over the course of about 10 years, you essentially get an entirely new skeleton, even though it looks the same on the outside. An owl's eyes are so large that they take up most of the space inside its skull, leaving very little room for the muscles that would normally move them. Because of this, owls cannot move their eyes at all. They are fixed in place like two giant telescopes. To see what is happening around them, owls have evolved the ability to turn their heads up to 270 degrees in either direction. They have extra bones in their neck and a specialized blood vessel system that prevents the blood flow to their brain from being cut off when they twist their neck so far. The memory of a crow. Crows are among the most intelligent animals on the planet, and they have the ability to recognize individual human faces for many years. In one experiment, researchers wore a specific mask while catching and banding crows. Years later, those same crows would scream and dive bomb anyone wearing that specific mask, even if the person was a different height or weight. Most amazingly, the crows who were never caught also started attacking the person in the mask, meaning the original crows had told their friends and children about the dangerous human. The way a caterpillar rebuilds itself. When a caterpillar enters its chrysalis, it does not just grow wings. Its entire body dissolves into a liquid soup. Special cells called imaginal discs, which have been hidden inside the caterpillar since it was born, then use that liquid as fuel to build a completely new body. These discs contain the blueprints for the butterfly's legs, wings, eyes, and antennae. Even though the caterpillar's brain is mostly dissolved, some studies suggest that the butterfly can still remember certain things it learned when it was a caterpillar, showing that the self survives even after the body is completely liquid. The amount of gold in the ocean. There is a massive amount of gold hidden in the Earth's oceans, but it is not in the form of sunken treasure chests. The gold is dissolved in the water itself. Scientists estimate that there are about 20 million tons of gold suspended in the seawater. If you could somehow collect all of that gold and share it, every person on Earth would have about 9 pounds of pure gold. However, the gold is spread so thin that there are only about 13 billionths of a gram of gold in every liter of water. Currently, we do not have a way to collect it that doesn't cost more than the gold is worth. The way ants breathe. Ants do not have lungs like we do. Instead, they have a series of tiny holes along the sides of their bodies called spiracles. These holes lead to a network of tubes that deliver oxygen directly to every cell in the ant's body. Because they rely on this passive system of air moving through tubes, ants cannot grow to be very large. If an ant were the size of a human, the air would not be able to travel deep enough into its body to keep it alive. This is why insects were much larger millions of years ago when there was more oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere. The power of a human heart. The human heart is an incredibly strong muscle that works without stopping for your entire life. In a single day, your heart pumps about 2,000 gallons of blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels. This is enough pressure to squirt blood 30 feet across a room. Over an average lifetime, the heart will beat about 2.5 billion times and pump enough blood to fill 3 giant oil tankers. It is the only muscle in your body that never gets tired, as it has a specialized type of muscle cell that is packed with energy-producing mitochondria.